Have you ever noticed how every October the world begins to change? Shops fill with skulls and candles. Children paint their faces like ghosts. Grown-ups carve smiles into pumpkins and hang skeletons on their doors. For one night, we make friends with fear. We laugh at darkness. We dress like death and call it celebration. But have you ever stopped to ask yourself, why? Why do millions of people, from New York to Tokyo, from Mexico to Ireland, celebrate a holiday that honors fear, death, and the unknown? Why do we crave stories about monsters, witches, and ghosts? Why do we decorate our homes with symbols of decay, yet feel strangely alive while doing it? It isn't just about candy, or costumes, or even fun. There's something ancient moving underneath all of it, a memory as old as humanity itself. Because long before Halloween meant parties and horror movies, it meant survival. It meant the end of summer, the dying of light, the coming of winter, when food grew scarce and nights stretched endlessly long. In those times, people didn't pretend death away. They faced it. They honored it. They turned fear into ritual. Every bonfire, every mask, every candle flickering in a window was a promise that the dark would pass and that life would return again. And maybe that's what we're still celebrating. Not death itself, but our eternal dance with it. It all began over 2,000 years ago in the ancient Celtic lands, Ireland, Scotland, parts of France. People gathered every year for a festival called Samhain, pronounced Samhain. Samhain marked the end of the harvest and the beginning of the long, dark winter. To them, this was not just a season change. It was the death of the year itself. They believed that on the night of October 31st, the boundary between the living and the dead grew thin, that spirits could walk among them, and that if they didn't honor those spirits, the spirits might not leave them alone. So they lit great bonfires on the hills. They burned the last of the crops to honor the gods. They left food outside their doors, offerings for wandering souls, and they wore disguises made of animal skins and masks, not to frighten others, but to protect themselves from being recognized by ghosts. It was not a night of terror. It was a night of respect, a moment to acknowledge that death was part of life. Then the Romans came, and with them, new customs. They brought Feralia, a day to honor the spirits of the dead, and the festival of Pomona, goddess of fruit and trees. From her came the symbol of the apple, and centuries later, the tradition of bobbing for apples. As time passed, Christianity absorbed what it could not erase. All Hallows' Eve, the night before All Saints' Day, merged with the old Celtic rites. And so, Halloween was born. But though the names changed, the meaning endured. Each generation found a new way to face the same ancient truth, that death is never the end. It's the doorway between worlds. When we light our pumpkins, dress as ghosts, and tell stories of the dead, we're echoing something our ancestors whispered under autumn skies, that remembering death is how we remember to live. For the Celts, winter was more than a season. It was a teacher, a reminder that every ending hides the seed of beginning. To walk into the dark was to learn to trust life again, because only in darkness can light be born. That truth never left us. It only changed shape. Today we may not gather on hilltops under the moon, but we still chase the same feeling. We go to haunted houses. We watch horror movies. We whisper ghost stories by candlelight. We flirt with fear because it makes us feel alive. Inside the body, fear wakes ancient systems. The rush of adrenaline, the quickening pulse, the sudden sharpness of every sound. For a moment, we are completely present. No past, no future, just now. That's the secret language of Halloween, a ritual that lets us rehearse our own courage. We enter darkness, knowing it's safe. We die a little in the story and return laughing. We feel the edge, without falling over it. And somewhere inside, the psyche remembers what the Celts already knew. Fear isn't the opposite of joy, it's the doorway to transformation. Because every time we face what frightens us, we reclaim a piece of our power. So why do we love being scared? Inside the brain, fear begins with a spark. The amygdala lights up, flooding the body with adrenaline. Your heart races, your breath quickens, every sense becomes sharper. But here's what most people don't realize. Alongside adrenaline, the brain also releases dopamine, the same chemical linked to joy and reward. That's why fear in a safe environment can feel exciting instead of overwhelming. A haunted house, a roller coaster, a ghost story by candlelight. They all offer the same experience, a safe rehearsal for danger. Our bodies get to face chaos while our minds know we're protected. And in that paradox, something powerful happens. Fear transforms into fascination. Panic turns into play. We don't avoid death, we dance with it. It's our nervous system's ancient way of saying, I can survive this. I can step into the dark and return stronger. That's what Halloween offers us every year, a ritual reminder that courage isn't the absence of fear. It's learning to stay present through it. Across every culture, humans have created rituals to face what they fear most, the unknown. Carl Jung believed that rituals weren't just ceremonies. They were the language of the unconscious, a bridge between the visible and the invisible world. When we light candles for the dead or tell stories about spirits, we aren't just honoring something outside of us. We're speaking directly to something within. The psyche uses symbols the way the body uses breath to stay alive. Every mask, every costume, every flickering candle on Halloween night is a message from the unconscious. A reminder that the darkness isn't our enemy. It's part of us. Jung said, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. That's what Halloween really is. A collective ritual of integration, a symbolic night where the world allows its shadow to come out and dance. For children, it's play. For adults, it's something deeper, a chance to flirt with fear, to give the unknown a name and a shape. Rituals like this help us bring the hidden parts of the psyche into the light. They keep us whole. Without them, the unconscious grows restless and begins to haunt us in other ways. So when we carve a pumpkin, wear a mask, or light a candle, we are not just celebrating death. We are performing an ancient act of balance, reminding the soul that life and darkness belong to the same story. Maybe that's why Halloween still matters. Because beneath the costumes, the candy, and the laughter, we're practicing something ancient. We're remembering what Jung called the dance between life and death, the truth that everything alive is always becoming something else. When we light a candle inside a hollow pumpkin, we're not glorifying darkness. We're bringing light into it. We're saying to the unknown, I'm not afraid to see you. Every ghost story we tell, every mask we wear, is a small conversation with our own mortality. And maybe that conversation keeps us human. Jung believed that facing death, symbolically, emotionally, spiritually, awakens the instinct to live more fully. He called it individuation, the lifelong process of becoming whole, of integrating the opposites, light and dark, fear and courage, life and death. And maybe that's the real magic of this night. Not the monsters or the myths, but the mirror it holds up to the soul. A reminder that every ending is a threshold, and every shadow is just another way the light finds its way home. If this video made you see Halloween a little differently, leave a light behind, a like, a comment, a small sign that you were here. Until next time, see you between worlds.